this is Lisa from Life in Layouts, and I have another process video using Freaky Fast Friday from the Scrap Room blogspot. I started out showing you guys this layout, and I'll give you guys a little bit more detail about that in a second, and these three photos. So I'm going to cut the paper. This first piece that I'm using is 8 3/4 by 3 inches. And then I decide to cut down this blue paper to the 7 4.5. Then I cut down the stripe paper to the 6 6.5. And this paper here is 12 by 1 inch. And then this yellow paper is 12 by 1/2 inch. And then the green paper that I'm about to pull out is going to be 12 by 1/4 inch. And then I'm also going to use this green paper to cut out the 3.5 inch circle. So do you notice something that's missing? I totally forgot about one of the measurements. The other square measurement at the bottom of the information. I somehow missed it. I didn't even notice it until I started to edit the video and realized that I totally missed it. So I'm going to use this pattern paper here because I like the dark blue of this pattern paper, and then it also has that yellow, it looks kind of like paint dropping, so it has some mixed media to it already, and I think it really offsets the colors in the green and the yellow and the stripes. So this is a really thin paper pack. I got this paper pad from AC Moore, so I do want to back it to give it a little bit of sturdiness with this. It looks white, but it's actually like a gray color cardstock. And I wanted to add a little bit of texture or dimension to the paper, so I cut it at an angle as well. And so it gives it that gray triangle look at the top. So I am just moving around the paper like I normally do, trying to figure out what works best, what I like best. I do like these 3 strips close to each other, and I actually end up moving that blue over a little bit so you can see more of the stripes. And then I have this photo that's 5 by 7, and so I'm going to use the gray that I used to cut out of the center of the background paper to mat my photo. And then I'm going to use Faded Jeans, which is probably one of my favorite distress inks for the blue. It really does give it this like navy, it's like a navy blue color. So I've distressed all of the edges of the paper. And I actually took a picture of the layout before I distressed it so that I have it off to the right there. And I can look at it for a reference in regards to how I want the paper to lay out. So I do end up using this fun foam to back my photo to give it a little bit of dimension against all of that variety of color on the left side of the layout. And of course my ATG gun runs out of adhesive right there. So I did cut out most of it, but I left just a little bit of it at the end. And I decide that I only want to cut one edge of the right side of the paper, and I'm actually going to mat it on the right hand side instead of the top and the bottom. So it gives it just a different look than it does on the right, but still gives it that cohesiveness. And then I'm just going to add washi tape, and I'm going to give you guys advice that probably you've heard time and time again, to use your washi tape, because this kept peeling off. It was such a pain to get off. It is an older washi tape, and so use that washi tape if you have it. So I'm going to cut the other two photos down to a 4x4, and I am going to use the technique that I used in my previous layout. I am loving this technique for layering my photos. So like I explained in the other video, what I'm doing is I will layer my photo behind one piece of paper. So I wanted something kind of bright, since these photos were actually taken when we were on the boat last year. And so I wanted some bright colors. So I used that orange for one of them, and then this yellow on the other. And then I just took some scraps of paper and cut them in an L shape to add to the backs of the layers. So it gives you that funky layer shape. So here you'll see that I'm going to cut it into an L shape. Actually, I have to trim it down a little bit before I cut it into that L shape. And then I use that L shape to back my photo, and it just gives my pictures a different type of matte. And I'm just loving the way these are coming out. So let me explain the layout that I showed you in the beginning. I thought I did a really good job with that layout, and I had to even use a 6x12 insert that had 3 4x6s. So it gave me a total of 6 4x6s. So I added some additional photos. I did a little bit more embellishments, and I actually added all of that to the very end, so you'll be able to see all of it, close-ups of everything that I did. And then I was going through my this paper pad to actually donate some of my scrapbooking supplies to the boys' daycare and kindergarten class. And so I went to pull this paper pad out of the bag that it was in, and these 3 photos fell out. And I was like, oh my goodness, I can't believe that I totally missed these 3 photos. So I decided to do another 12x12 layout, because there was no way to get these 3 photos in with the other layout that I did. And this really was, even though it was on the boat, it was kind of a different type of event. The other photos in the layout that I used before, I focused on the things that we did. So on the boat, we went fishing, we went swimming in the water, and then there were pictures of us on the boat. And then these 3 photos were towards the end of the day. The boy's grandfather decided to play a game with them with this towel. So the boys would stand at the end of the boat, and he would hold the towel up, and the boys kind of had to wait until the towel blew up in the wind, and then they could run past it. And they thought it was the greatest thing in the world, and they spent probably a good half hour running back and forth on the boat. So it was a little different experience than everything else that we did, and I remember when I printed the photos, I wanted to highlight that additional story. So I was okay with creating another double page layout for this event, and I wanted to use the same paper so that, it all went together and all coordinated together. So at the end of this video, I have close-ups of this layout as well as the other 12x12 layout, and I did that layout prior to doing YouTube videos, so I don't have a video, process video for that particular layout. So now that I have talked through all of that additional layers, I am using some fun foam to pop up that one photo because they are a little big for the to fit on there side by side. So I found this sticker to use for my journaling, and it is a flower there, but I end up adding additional sticker to it. So I'm just going through some different sticker sheets, and this sticker sheet I used the title Paradise Found. So I wanted to add some more of that gray color or that cream color. You can see right there to the layout. This little pinwheel came with that sticker sheet. It's from Close to My Heart. So it was the stickers, the paper, and then there was a couple pinwheels. So I wanted to add that color to this layout so that it would tie into the other layout, and as well as the 6x12 pocket cards. So I end up using this word fun and enjoy the view, because when you're out on the water on a boat, it's just a gorgeous, gorgeous view. So I loved both of those. However, though, that is not the title of my layout. My layout is actually going to be titled Wind and Towels and Grandpa equals happy. So I'm adding just a few different stickers from a couple of my sticker sheets to my clusters here. And I'm actually trying to get rid of these sticker sheets. I only have a few stickers left on each one of them, so I'm getting there. I'm so close. So this is where I add that little pink anchor, and that brings in that corally pink color as well. So that it makes it look more, it's still a flower, you can still tell it's a flower, but having that anchor as the center makes it, I feel like, more nautical. So I just added a few other things, some arrows and some word stickers down there at the bottom. That word neato, because the boys just had so much fun. And a couple of arrows, just kind of drawing your eye into the clusters and into the photos. So this is where I am going to do the title, and I'm going to actually zoom in to make it a little easier. So I use the words wind in the orange, and I actually ended up having to move it over a little bit because it didn't fit. And when I put the word towel down. So I use these gray, like navy grayish color tile stickers to spell out the word towel. And unfortunately, because I'm so zoomed in, you don't get to see me put the words down because I was off camera, and I usually don't zoom in this much. So I am sorry, I apologize for that. But once I put the letters down, I will turn the layout back to back upright so you'll be able to see it. So this is where I realized that I don't have enough room because I wanted to add an ampersand. So I end up moving the word wind as far over to the left as I can, just kind of lined up with that little wave sticker underneath the photo. So I know that this is not grammatically correct because it does say wind. It will say wind and towel and grandpa. So I know that it's not correct, but it just it didn't look right with a comma. So that's why I added the ampersand. So I'm going to add grandpa here, and then I realize I don't have enough room. So I move it up a little bit to snuggle closer to the title, the wind, and the towel, as well as to give me enough room to go across that yellow. And it does, the A of Grandpa does stick out a little bit, but it doesn't bother me. It's not enough that it's noticeable that I would move the title over again. It's just a very, very tiny little bit. So this is where I'm adding the ampersand in those navy letters. And then I find the word happy in white foam letters. I got these from Tuesday Morning. I actually think I ended up buying like 3 different packs of these, and I have used a majority of all of the words on there. So I wish I would have purchased some more of them, because I have used them quite a bit. So it actually took me a very long time to find an equal sign, and I was going to resort to using like an I or the number 1, but all of my letters had like it looked like a 1, so there was either the bottom part of it or the different parts of the ones. It wasn't just a straight line. So luckily I was able to find an actual equal sign to add to the layout. So here I'm going to pick out some wood veneer, since I did have that Enjoy the View in wood veneer. So I just picked out some hearts and a camera and some glasses, because I thought that they would be cute to look like sunglasses, but it doesn't end up making it on the page. But I did want to add some wood veneer to each one of the clusters to bring in or draw your eye into it, so that Enjoy the View is not just standing out there by itself. So I trimmed this video. As you know, I trim all of my videos. Usually my layouts take about anywhere from 30 to 45 minutes to make. And then I usually can trim them down to anywhere from 10 to 12 minutes. I trimmed and trimmed and trimmed, and I could not get this layout down under 20 minutes. I don't know what was going on or why I felt like I needed to include so much of it, but there it is. You guys have seen me complete this layout and talk to you guys for 20 minutes, which is usually very long for me. I do end up using the fireworks spray in the dandelion, which it is almost gone. I'm so very sad. I'm going to have to see if I can find another bottle, because these are sold in a pack of 3. And I don't want to necessarily purchase the other 2 colors, because those are almost full bottles, but this yellow the dandelion is almost gone. So I'm very sad about that. So I'll have to see if I can find another one. But I add that throughout the layout, especially on the gray parts of the layout, because I wanted to have that dimension or extra area there. So that is it for the layout. I first show you guys a close-up of this layout that I just completed. So the full page and then all of the close-ups. Definitely check out the Scrap Room Facebook page for this month's Freaky Fast Friday challenge, as well as other challenges that they have. I'll post a link below for that. And then I show you the layout that I had created before. And as you can see, this is a completely different mood and feel for this. This is really us just on the boat and spending the day on the boat with them, fishing and swimming and things like that. So those 3 photos really didn't fit in well with the layout. So it was good that I made a different one. And then here are the pocket pages that I use. So, Paradise Found in that as my title, and then just us in the water. So thanks everyone for watching and sticking through this long video. Usually my videos are not this long, but thanks everyone for checking this video out. If you haven't done so already, if you want to hit that subscribe button to see more double page layouts, because that's all I do on this channel, I would really appreciate it. Thanks everyone for watching and have a scrappy day.